Building a porch swing. There's nothing to it really. It does require a few more tools than most people might have, but this is the easiest way I can think of to do it. Now, I have built several of these things through the years, and right now we need to build 3. But I'm only going to build 1 just for the sake of this video and show everybody how I do it. Getting this roller stand ready on this side, but the other side I'm going to use this way overpriced table to support the board. But using a miter saw or a sliding miter, whatever, that's what I'm going to use the majority of the time because there's going to be a bunch of angles cut. When I bought this miter saw, I'm so glad I went ahead and spent the extra money and got the 12-inch blade. The price difference wasn't all that much anyhow. So if you're looking at buying one, I really recommend just go ahead and get the 12-inch. I believe you'll be satisfied with it. Now after I cut all the boards to length, I'm going to set up my table saw and cut all of them in half. These will be the slats that go across the seat and across the back. Now I have patterns already cut out from building these things through the years, but if you don't have a pattern, don't be afraid to go to Grandma's house and just steal the pattern off of hers, like I'm going to show you how to do right here. Wow, doesn't that look awful? But when I get done routing it and sanding it and smoothing it out, it's going to look much better later on. So moving on to the armrests. So once again, you can copy these off of another swing if you want to, but I have patterns for it. I think the round part there in the front, I think that was a coffee can I used to get that. But this little part on the side right here has a 15-degree angle. So you have to set your jigsaw or whatever you're going to cut with to a 15-degree angle. Everything on this swing is 15 degrees. And do remember that you have a right hand and a left hand armrest. So you have to set your angle the opposite way when you make the other one, or you're going to cut it wrong and then you got to do it again. Believe me, I've done it several times. I know. And as I get done cutting out all my pieces, I just throw them over there in a pile because I'm going to set my router up outside and route everything at one time. I'm going to use this scrap piece of wood to cut out 2 90-degree blocks, and I'm going to fasten them under the armrest later on for extra support. You'll see what I'm going to do. You know, routers can do about anything you want them to. But all I've ever used them for is just to round the edges on these little boards. I'm not much into making furniture or trophy plaques or cabinets or anything. I'm more of like a torch and big hammer and come along kind of guy. I'm not really into finished work. And right here you can see the difference that a router makes. It knocks all them sharp edges off. So I haven't routed that first board yet, but this one I've already done, and you can see the difference. Much smoother, much cleaner, it looks much nicer. I cleaned this giant dirt dauber's nest out from underneath this table. It just goes to show how little I do use this thing. It's a good idea to go ahead and try to sand everything before you put it together. Because once you do, some of those spots are hard to get into. The one in the middle is supposed to be shorter. That way it doesn't stick out where we cut that V-notch in that top board. I'm going to try to use up some of these nails. I still got a bunch of them left over from building that storage shed. And I use a piece of scrap lumber as a spacer. Keep all my boards evenly spaced. I do pre-drill this one before I drive nails in it. If any of these boards split, I don't want it to be this one. We drill this hole for the chain to come through the armrest. So I'll tilt the drill back just a little bit because the chain will run straight up the side and then it's going to run at a slight angle back when it's hanging in the air. You can pick up these Porch Swing chain kits at any hardware store, but I got this one at Lowe's. It runs around $30. It comes with 2 chains and 2 eye bolts. After beating that one in with a hammer, I went around and drilled out the other 3 holes. These pieces may not be necessary, but I add them just for a little support under the armrest to keep it from trying to twist. So now that I have all the pieces put together, I'll go back over it one last time and give it a final sand down. You know, nobody wants a splinter, and when you're sitting down on something, there's a few places you especially don't want a splinter. So after I got it hung up here for all of y'all to see, I think it turned out pretty good. But if you don't like this style of swing, there's about 1,000 different designs to choose from. This is just one easy way I've learned how to build these things through the years. But like always, thank you so very much for watching here at the house.